am Kalani. Welcome to my channel and this is my first video. So I'm going to explain you a little about what you're going to gain through this channel and what you'll be learning by watching our future videos. The primary objective of this channel is to give solutions to many of our friends who are still struggling to learn English and to communicate in English. In your real life, you may have gone through really difficult, even embarrassing situations just because you didn't know how to respond to somebody in English. You may have even avoided certain conversations when you're with your friends and even at the workplace, not knowing how to communicate in English. But I don't think that you should let English be your weakness anymore. So in this first video, we're going to see the greatest barriers that stop you from speaking in English and the things that you need to learn to speak English fluently and confidently. Let's see. What actually stops you from speaking English? People come up with so many excuses, but there are two things actually affecting your communication. Number one, lack of confidence. The first thing that we need to have when we speak a new language is our confidence. Perhaps you're too worried, you're too shy about making mistakes when you speak English. And even you have this great fear that people would laugh at you, people would judge you, and you must also be worrying about your grammar when you speak English. But stop worrying about these things and just try to get rid of all these unnecessary fears because you're still a learner and this is a new language. In fact, when it comes to speaking, what's more important is your fluency than accuracy. I don't suggest you completely ignore your mistakes because with the course of the time you need to learn the correct usage and let the time correct your mistakes. Just for the time being, start speaking even with the few words that you know in the language. And this start requires a great deal of confidence. Number two, your attitude can have a great impact on your speaking. For an example, you must be thinking that at home you don't hear people speaking in English, so you don't have the English speaking environment. So how can you improve your English? This is not a big problem and this is not an excuse. Just look at the world. The world is trying to communicate with you in English. Wherever you go, you hear people speaking in English and whatever you see, they are in English. I'm very sure that you're spending a considerable amount of your valuable time on social media. So this is a very good platform for you to learn new words, new expressions and to use them with your friends. So the environment is readily existing. My advice is if you want to learn and to speak English, just stop seeking silly excuses for that. So on that note, we are going to see what we really need to learn to speak English. Let's see all that you need to learn to speak English. Number one, words. Without knowing words, you cannot speak any language. So try to learn new words every day. But how can you do this? I'm going to tell you something that helped me immensely in improving my vocabulary. Watch English news daily. By watching English news, you get access to so many new words related to politics, sports, weather, even contemporary matters. So these are the things that we need to learn to engage in real life conversations. A dictionary can help you find meanings of words, but I don't think it is the best way for you to learn new words because when you learn a word, you should also learn when and where to use that word appropriately. So, I highly recommend any of my learners watching English news. You can even watch English movies because language keeps evolving and new words, modern expressions are being added to this language every day. So, by watching movies, you can always get updated. Try to learn new words and enrich your vocabulary first. Number two, sentence structure. There's no point of learning new words if you're still unable to put these words together in a sentence because we speak sentences, not words. But don't worry if you don't know how to make a sentence in English because in our future videos, we also hope to discuss different sentence structures and even we'll have plenty of time to clarify any of your confusions related to English. Number three, correct pronunciation is equally important when it comes to speaking. When you speak English, if your listener gets confused and if he asks you to repeat it, just check your pronunciation. You may be pronouncing the words incorrectly. What actually happens when you pronounce the words incorrectly? Perhaps your listener gets confused and he asks you to repeat it. At the same time, you doubt what you've just spoken and consequently you lose all your confidence. So don't let this happen to yourself. Learn the correct pronunciation of the words. In fact, when we speak any language, things have to be mutually intelligible. Your listener should be able to get you clearly. So, watching movies can even help you learning correct pronunciation because when you hear native speakers speak English, it's most of the time correct. Make sure that you pronounce the words correctly. Now, we just discussed the 3 things that we need to learn to speak English. But still, speaking will not be easy for you until you practice this. Think in English. I've heard so many people saying that they can understand when other people speak, yet they can't speak well. The biggest problem is when we speak English, we think in our native language. Secondly, we convert the words into English and it takes time for you to translate. By the time, your partner may have spoken 2-3 sentences while you're still thinking. So, practice and train yourself to think in English, then only you are able to respond instantly. Above all, you need to have the need and the right enthusiasm to learn English and to speak English. This is just a beginning. In our future videos, we hope to guide and we hope to train you, improve your English skills, both for your day-to-day life and for your career life. Before ending up this video, I invite all of you to join us to stay with us. Thank you for watching.